It's Comic-Con season, whether that be San Diego Comic-Con, WonderCon, Dallas Fan Expo this, Fan Expo that. It's here. Let's talk about it. Hello, YouTube. Axie here once again. And technically, Comic-Con season never ends. Depends on who you ask. Depends on how invested you are into comic conventions. We all know at this point that not all of them are just comic book conventions. Pop culture has integrated itself into all things conventions, all of that. That said, for me personally, for a lot of people actually, the beginning of the year after the holidays, it's almost like this lamenting season because the holidays are over and it's kind of like back to reality, back to work, depending on work, I guess. But not to me. To me, it just means that we're heading into the con season, whether that be in Chicago, Atlanta, New York. Well, New York is not till October, but San Diego, Anaheim, Los Angeles, whatever the case may be. Well, the Los Angeles one is actually in December. So I guess that one doesn't count, which is what my reference was to earlier when I said that sometimes these can happen all year round, but because of the weather, because of the bigger events, I guess, if you will, that's also a matter of discussion and argument. WonderCon, Dallas Fan Expo, and San Diego Comic-Con are my biggest cons. I used to go to WonderCon all the time in Anaheim at the Anaheim Convention Center, which is right next to Disneyland and the Disney parks in California. Then San Diego Comic-Con is the biggest one right next to New York Comic-Con, who is just as big. That one is just as big as the San Diego one. Wasn't always the case, but it morphed into what it is now. And my local one is actually Dallas Fan Expo. It's nonprofit organizations that run these these conventions. A lot of good people out there just making these things happen, reaching out to vendors, artists, movie stars, TV stars, creators, writers, inkers, the whole nine. The amount of work that goes into these conventions is astronomical, in my opinion. So it's not just about attending; it's also about respecting the amount of work that goes in to making these events happen. So the one that I go to now locally here in the Dallas Fort Worth area is called Dallas Fan Expo. The Fan Expo name is actually nationwide. There's an organization that runs that makes those events happen across the country. That's not to say that other events don't do the same, but in my opinion, it's the biggest one. At least it's the most nationwide one. The biggest one, as I mentioned earlier, is probably, or the most well-known one is San Diego Comic-Con, followed by New York Comic-Con, respectfully, for both. If you've never attended a convention, a comic con, if you will, I made another video about this, but I'm going to make a video about this every year. You have to attend. You have to attend. Here's the biggest question, or the number one question, I should say, that I always get asked. Well, I don't have tickets. Well, they're not called tickets. They're called badges. Literally, the snob comes out of me every time when I say that. Of course it does. They're called badges. So you don't have a badge. You don't have a badge to go in. That's okay. The happenings that are going on outside are so massive that no matter what con you really go to, there is so much happening on the outside. Of course, it depends on the convention. Anybody that argues with me in the comment section, I'll give you that. It just depends on what city, what convention is chosen for said event. But let's just talk about the one I consider the biggest one, which is San Diego Comic-Con. The city of San Diego almost shuts down everything every year in order to make way for the hordes of people that are going to attend the convention center, the San Diego Convention Center. There's so much to do that even if you have a 4-day badge, meaning that you're going to be there for not only preview night that takes place on Wednesday night, where they just open it from like 5 to 9, so it's only a short period. From so then at that point from Thursday all the way through Sunday, even if you have that badge, you still won't cover everything that you can do. You won't even scratch the surface. Uh, some of that it's because, well, you don't have to be into everything that's being shown. But even if you are into everything that you are into and you want to tackle everything throughout the span of those 4 or 5 days, you still won't do it. Trust me, I know that from experience. And that is the epicness of what is something like San Diego Comic Con, any con in general. It's because there's just so much to do. And if you don't have a badge, if you don't have an entrance ticket, if you will, I encourage everyone to still go. Why do I say that? Because not everything that happens at these conventions, especially at San Diego Comic Con, are on the inside. Not all of them happen on the inside of the convention center itself. There are so many things that you can see on the outside and experience and take a part of. Even there's so many experiences. The San Diego Convention Center, honestly, is not that big, but the baseball park that's right next to it, Petco Park, usually is open to the public. You can sit in the bleachers and download whatever trailer has just dropped, listen to podcasts, and usually they have the park open. They have bands that play on the field. I've seen so many just different events that happen, and they're free to the public. The Hard Rock Hotel, that's right there, right next to the ballpark, right next to the convention center, is just, I've seen a Game of Thrones exhibit. I've seen Lord of the Rings exhibits. I've seen so many things, and just everything on the outside. I mean, I've seen a full Viking ship to one side of the convention center that was dedicated to the show Vikings, where people stand in line. You don't need to have a ticket or a badge to get into the actual con. These are just things that are open to the general public, and they get just a bunch of strangers who row the boat and have that experience of taking your picture, taking video. They send it to your phone of you rowing just like you are in the show Vikings. That's just one of so many hundreds, if not thousands, of examples that you can do on the outside. This is why I always encourage people to just go. Parking will cost you anywhere between $20 and $50, depending on how close you want to park to the merriment that is happening. But it's so much fun. Bring your kids. There's shenanigans and tomfoolery that just happens nonstop throughout the entire weekend. Of course, Saturday is the best day to go if you are going to go, or if you don't have a badge. And not to mention, all the restaurants and the bars and the eateries and everything that normally is open in that general area are also open, but they're themed now. They're themed. There's nothing better than eating a regular taco that's now, I don't know, now it's a green lantern taco. Does that change the taco? No, but it's cool that it's on the menu and the menu special. You're having an Iron Man taco, or a Captain America burger, because the menu changes. I would argue that alone is so cool. So all the places surrounding the San Diego Convention event, San Diego Comic Con event, is all prepared for all the masses that are going to show. It's so cool. I know I've been talking about San Diego Comic Con, one of the biggest ones that I consider. I've never been to New York Comic Con, so I can't really speak for that event. So I don't know how it is on the outside and all the events that happen on the outside of New York Comic Con. I can't speak for that. I can't speak for for San Diego Comic Con. That being said, though, I encourage everyone that watches this video to check out your local Comic Cons. There's so many that happen. Yes, a lot of them are smaller and a lot of them are just local vendors, but you'd be surprised how much fun and how much knowledge you get out of those. Don't be shy. I mean, I encourage you to go out there and talk to some of the vendors, talk to some of the the artists that are out there, the local ones that are just doing artwork based on some of the stuff that you may like, whether that be Sailor Moon or Hellboy or Dragon Ball Z. I mean, there's so many things. Doctor Who. I mean, I've even seen Gilligan's Island artwork. If anybody that's my age knows what Gilligan's Island is, I've seen some crazy, just deep, you know, just pulls from pop culture in the 80s and the 70s, 50s. I mean, the list goes on. People are so creative. It blows my mind. And I love it. I'm there for all of it. For the record, my cousin, my own cousin, who we call Frenzy, he was El Chapulín Colorado. If you don't know who El Chapulín Colorado, I'm going to put him right here on camera. He's a Mexican icon. But my cousin dressed up just like him for last year's Dallas Fan Expo. It's amazing. And he thought he was going to get a few people that took his picture. He was swamped. He couldn't even walk the convention floor because everybody loved his costume. You just never know. You never know what you're going to find, what you're going to see, who you're going to encounter, who you're going to talk to and meet. Approach these cosplayers, approach these artists and people. They love it. Maybe they won't always be nice, but I guarantee you that about a good 90% of them will be. That's just my experience with going to so many cons throughout the years, that most of the people that you meet are some of the nicest human beings that you'll ever encounter. As I get closer to Dallas Fan Expo, which takes place, as I mentioned, at the end of May, and then San Diego Comic Con, which happens at the end of July, I'll make more videos about how to prep for a con, what to expect, what not to do, the do's and don'ts kind of thing. But for now, this is more of an encouragement video to get you guys out there and go to these cons, explore them, check out their websites, find out who's attending, all these things. I encourage you to do a little bit of research and get yourself excited about going to a comic con, whether that be Fan Expo or whatever other name they come up with. But that's it for this video. As always, collect what you love what you collect, especially at the cons. I'll see you guys in the next one.